Okay, year 9. So this is your homework, and this is the extract in which you are going to be analysing on your own at home before you come into class and answer this question. So I'd like to write down the question at the top. Please, the question is this: how does the writer use language to describe Scrooge? Question mark. Funky monkey. Okay, so I'm just going to read out this extract to you first, and let's see what you make of it. This is the very first time we are introduced to Scrooge, and this is the description in which Charles Dickens gives to us as the reader. Oh, but he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone. Scrooge, a squeezing, renting, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner, hard and sharp as flint, from which no steel had ever struck out generous fire, secret and self-contained and solitary as an oyster. The cold within him froze his old features, nipped his pointed nose, shrivelled his cheek, stiffened his gait, made his eyes red, his thin lips flew and spoke out shrewdly in his grating voice. Okay, so there's absolutely tons of language going on in here, which gives us a clear impression of what Scrooge is described like. So I'm just going to talk you through it now, and I'm going to be making annotations as I go through. I expect you to make all of these annotations, so you may want to stop the video at times. That's absolutely fine to make the annotations, but it's also really, really important that you are listening to what I'm saying as well. So I may be saying things which I don't make notes of or write down, but it's important that you take them on board, so that when you are faced with the answer in class, you know exactly what you're going to be on about. Okay, let's start at the beginning then. Starts with, oh, but he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone. Okay, so straight away, you've got this oh here. What technique have we got going on here? It's obviously exclamation, isn't it? And what could this suggest, okay, about Scrooge? Okay, what is Dickens trying to say here straight away with this exclamation? It's obviously showing, I think personally, it could be showing, what's it showing us about Dickens? It's showing Dickens kind of, what's the best way to put this? It's showing Dickens, you could say intense feelings towards Scrooge. If I can spell properly, which I probably can't. Dickens' intense feelings towards Scrooge, and it kind of prepares the reader for what's going to come next. This short exclamation of oh, it kind of sets the reader up for what's about to follow. It's kind of like saying, are you ready for what's about to follow in this description of Scrooge? Are you ready to meet this character? You're not going to believe what this man is like. Okay, but he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone. Scrooge, again, you've got the repetition here of this exclamation again. The exclamation after Scrooge's name, again, showing us Dickens's, his own kind of disbelief of what this man is like. Just going back a bit, we've got this here, tight-fisted. He was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone. Okay, so this is an adjective. Adjective phrase, I'd call it, because you've got tight and fisted. Okay, adjective phrase there. What can we say about this? What does this relate to? Obviously showing that, it obviously relates to what Scrooge is like in his life, and in particular what he's like with regards to money. Okay, so you can relate that to money. Okay? moving on from this, you've got this massive long list of adjectives to describe Scrooge. Squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous, old, okay, and then sinner is your noun at the end. So all these, okay, you've got a list of adjectives here. So these are all adjectives, okay. Now what would you say about them? Are they nice adjectives? Are they positive? No, they're all extremely negative, okay. You can actually pick apart each and every one of these adjectives, okay, and analyse them. So what can we say about squeezing, clutching, okay? I would say again, clutching in particular links along with the kind of tight-fisted. So this adjective shows that he is not willing to part with money, okay? To part with. So he's not willing to part with money. He's clutching onto it, okay? Again, you can link that in with that adjective squeezing as well, analyse them both at the same time. Grasping, again, very much linking in with that bit of analysis there. Scraping, okay, it's not a pleasant thing, is it? You've got scraping, it's kind of like that bit of discomfort, I would say. So if you're scraping on something, like imagine the sounds of fingernails on a blackboard or something like that. The idea of scraping is it's discomfort, it's not pleasant, it's unsettling, it's an unsettling sound, isn't it? And so this character straight away has been described in this horrible way. Okay, and obviously he's called an old sinner. We've got adjective covetous as well, which again shows how obsessed he is with material possessions and the possessions of others as well. So that's kind of what covetous means. Okay, and I would also comment on the fact that Dickens has used this long list of adjectives. Okay, we all know Dickens is an accomplished writer. He's got published novels. Would you normally associate using this many adjectives, okay, with an accomplished writer? For example, squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous, old. You know, it's a bit too much. It's almost a bit like childlike in a way, using that many adjectives all at once. You think he'd spread them out or something? No. I have the feeling he's doing this for effect. Okay, he's purposely putting this long list of adjectives. Okay, and this further emphasises the degree of Scrooge's nature, which we all know is an unpleasant nature. Okay, that's what I've just jotted down up here. So this long list of adjectives helps to convey this. It's almost kind of like it's relentless. Okay, it's ongoing and ongoing and ongoing. Scrooge's bad attitude, his horrible persona and personality is never ending. It's not going to change. It's not going to stop. That's what that kind of structural techniques of like listing technique shows. Okay. And again, you can comment on an exclamation mark. What's it showing? It's obviously showing emotion of the writer. Okay, and what emotion is this? Is it happiness? It's kind of, again, it's disbelief of what's going on. Okay? Okay, moving on from that bit. Hard and sharp as flint. Okay? So this bit here, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to bust out a highlighter. Why? Because I can. So, hard and sharp as flint. So what technique is being used here, guys? We should all know, hopefully, that this is a simile. You've got that word as in there, hard and sharp as flint. Okay? So it's a simile. What is this simile getting across to us? Okay? You need to think about what's being said. Do you know what flint is? Hard and sharp as flint. you need to think of the connotations going on with flint and that simile. Okay? So, if you're describing someone as being hard and sharp, is it normally a good thing or a bad thing? I would say probably a bad thing. Having said that, you've got sharp here, can have different interpretations, okay? So always look where possible for different interpretations, okay? So I'll just write down the two interpretations. It could show, his sharpness could show his intelligence, okay? Apologies for the handwriting. Could show his intelligence, but could also show that he is kind of sharp, you know, kind of painful. Again, not nice, not pleasant. If someone's sharp in the way they speak, in the way they act, you don't really want to be associated with them. So it's, you know, you have like all the connotations of pain there. Okay, hard and sharp as flint. So what is flint? Flint is a kind of metal. It was used like a long, long time ago to make instruments, to make weapons of war and stuff like that. In itself, it looks, it's grey, it's rough. It's used to make weapons like knives and things like that. Weapons, or people also use flint to make fire. Okay, so the idea that Scrooge be described in this way through this simile of hard and sharp flint. Scrooge has obviously been shown to be a rough, potentially dangerous character with regards to flint and how it's used to make weapons and used to make fire and everything like that. Okay? So, we'll move on from that now. Hard and sharp as flint, from which no steel had ever struck out generous fire. Secret and self-contained. Okay? More adjectives here. Okay? Self-contained down here. What does this suggest then? The fact that he's secret and self-contained. If I'm going to ask questions, why is he secret? What is he hiding? Is he hiding something? What secrets does he have? Self-contained, okay? That obviously gives the impression that he is, perhaps one way to put it, he is a bit of a loner, sorry. He is lonely. He is antisocial. He keeps people at a distance. He could be a bit of a recluse, okay? And again, you ask yourself questions as to why this is, okay? So he's not going to be, it's going to be quite unpleasant for all these things. He doesn't find like the kind of chap you want to go down the pub and have a pint with, really, does he? If this is the way he's been described by Dickens. Really important what we've got now. Really, really interesting thing, I think. So, secret and self-contained and solitary as an oyster. So what technique have we got going on here, guys? Solitary as an oyster. Hopefully you've all picked up. It's another simile which Dickens is using here. Okay? So you've got another simile. Solitary as an oyster. Again, think about what connotations you have with oyster. So it's oyster, you know, things such as, you know, a hard shell. Okay? Doesn't let anyone in. Doesn't let others into his life. An oyster is often seen as protecting something precious. So, protecting something precious. Where are they found? They're found on the seabed. Found on the seabed, okay? Away from other forms of life. Away from other forms of life, okay? Again, linking very much this simile of solitary as an oyster, linking loads with that adjective phrase of self-contained, okay? I'll make a note that was adjective phrase. Making notes of these because obviously really, really important that you're constantly making reference to subject terminology okay? Techniques we call them, subject terminology, and that you are getting these correct, okay? So going back to this simile there, solitary as an oyster. What else could you potentially say about solitary as an oyster? It's the different interpretations, okay? We've got the fact that they are found on the seabed, okay, that away from all other things, they're buried under the floor, they've got a hard shell, okay, and they're generally protecting something precious to them. This could be in relation to Scrooge, the fact that obviously he protects his money, he keeps himself sheltered, he keeps other people out of his life. As we read a bit further on, he's solitary as an oyster. You know, when his first interaction with his nephew, Fred, okay, all Fred wants to do is be mate to him, and for him to go round, Scrooge to go round for his Christmas dinner. However, Scrooge, you know, batters him away and says no, and just wants him to leave. So he's like an oyster, he shuts out people, even the people closest to him, his family, okay, he is not bothered one bit. A different interpretation, solitary as an oyster, okay, oysters, I'm not sure, I've never tried one myself, and the whole process of eating an oyster to me seems absolutely completely minging, but they are considered a delicacy, okay. If I can spell delicacy, it would help. Delicacy. Okay, so different interpretations coming in now. Okay, for this. Again, you could think what happens with oysters. What comes out of the centre of oysters? We have this idea of a pearl in the centre. Okay, of an oyster. So, what could this perhaps foreshadow? Okay, make a note of that key term. Is it foreshadowing something? Perhaps it is. Okay, perhaps this is foreshadowing how Scrooge actually changes in the novel. At the start, he is this solitary as an oyster. He's got a hard shell, doesn't let anybody in, keeps himself at distance from all society. However, the idea that they are considered a delicacy, perhaps he does have something important. Perhaps he does have something important to give. Okay, perhaps he has got potential on the inside, and he can turn in to something worthwhile with this pearl in the centre. Okay, so lots of different interpretations to think about. There. Right, coming towards the end of the poem now. End of the poem? Poems. It's when we're reading a poem. I don't know, I think it's nearly lunchtime and I'm getting hungry, so my mind's going a bit. But we'll carry on. So after that wonderful simile of solitary as an oyster, we've got the cold within him froze his old features, nipped his pointed nose, shrivelled his cheek, stiffened his gait, made his eyes red, his thin lips flew and spoke out shrewdly in his grating voice. Okay, so obviously you've got the cold here, the cold within him. So again, this is in kind of like in relation to weather. You've got a semantic field here, so you can make a note of that term, semantic field. All that means is different words which all relate to the same thing. So I'll say this is a semantic field of winter, perhaps. If you say the word winter, what comes into your mind? Winter, snow, cold, freezing weather. So you've got cold and froze there. Okay, so semantic field of weather, okay? You've got these verbs, shriveled, stiffened, nipped, okay? So these three verbs, shriveled his cheek, stiffened his gait. If anyone's wondering what gait is, a gait is just a person's stance or the way they walk, okay? So you can imagine walking in this very, very stiff, uncomfortable, unpleasant, unnatural kind of manner. Nipped his pointed nose. All these verbs to me, shriveled, nipped, stiffened, they're kind of, again, or the uncomfortable verbs. They're all like suggestive of of pain and discomfort, perhaps. What else can we say here? So we've got semantic field of winter, cold and froze, again showing his relating to his character. So whenever you're commenting on any of these bits and bobs, make sure that you're relating them to how you can relate it to what you know about Scrooge. Okay, so you know he's a cold, horrible character. His grating voice. Okay, you've got grating, nit. Again, this adjective, grating, is again suggestive of perhaps pain, something that goes on and gets to you and bugs you. You know, like kind of like a cheese grater. I think it obviously is getting near lunchtime now because I'm just thinking about cheese. But again, you've got this adverb here. You spoke out shrewdly. Okay? I'll leave that one to you guys. Shrewdly. Look it up in a dictionary. What does this say about Scrooge? Okay? Like the fact that he's speaking out and he's doing it shrewdly. Okay? And in a grating voice. All of this together, absolutely tons there. I could speak forever about that simile of sultry as an oyster and hard and sharp as flint. Go back. Again, my writing might be a bit messy. If that's the case, that is no excuse for you not making the annotations. Okay? You need to make the annotations, you need to have the question written at the top, and you need to be able to understand the whole of this passage here for answering the question. Everything I've written down I will have said, so it might be the case that you go back and listen to my wonderful voice doing this again. If that is the case, then funky monkey, do it. Okay? Muchas gracias.